cry for survival comes from the planet itself, a cry that can't be any more desperate.
Communicate with a deaf person, it's always hard. You try, even this sharing of the writing with the doctor, it's always not enough. As a deaf person, I feel like maybe
they express, especially the movements of the arms, the facial expression, because you will wish to understand what the arm movement means, but sometimes it is hard.